Hey everyone, Lincoln264 here. And wait a minute, I should really do an intro. Should I? I can't think of anything that'd be good for an intro. You know what? I'm not gonna do an intro. I don't care what you say. I don't feel like making an intro, okay? You people coming here expecting me to clickbait and get you hooked from the very start, and I can't stand it. I'm not gonna do an intro. You got it? You got it? You got it? I'm not doing an intro. Hey everyone, Lincoln264 here. For real this time, don't worry, the intro's over. Anyway, so, I've had the Switch for 2 weeks now. And, so I talked about the hardware in my last video. Click that. One of the corners. If you haven't seen that already. But anyway, in the last video I talked about my general impressions of the hardware, the controllers, charging time, all that stuff. And today I wanted to talk more about user interface and software games besides Zelda. I thought Zelda should be reserved for its own separate video because, I mean, that's just such a big topic to cover, and I'm not going to be able to cover that in a simple 10-minute video, so, in addition to all this other stuff. So anyway, I'll just get right into it. With, starting off with, the Switch UI. So, honestly, there isn't really much to say about this, but it has a really simplistic UI. If you haven't seen it online already, go and check out videos of it. But, honestly, the user interface for this is very simple. So far it doesn't have anything like YouTube or Netflix on it yet, but it's just super easy to be able to switch between accounts, between games. Like, it doesn't even have its own account system almost. You sign into an account whenever you select the game or application that you're opening up. And honestly, I love it. I love it a lot. That's just, you're not locked into a single account every time you boot up the Switch. You just choose that account whenever you decide to open a game. And it's really nice. I also like how you can select a ton of different icons, Nintendo-related icons, for your account's icon. Like for right now, I have Archer Link from Breath of the Wild with a light blue background set as my icon. But I mean, if you want to, you can also set Mii's as your background, just like in the Wii and Wii U days. So, besides that, it's just very simplistic. You have the settings available to you right there, your albums, controllers. You can just configure controllers right from the menu. Honestly, it's probably the most simple design I've seen from Nintendo from a while. Simple UI design, and I'm really fond of it. So, without further ado, I'm gonna get into a couple games, starting with Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. Alright, I have always been a fan of the Shovel Knight franchise, ever since 2014, whenever I picked it up. Shovel Knight is just an incredible value as it is. Whenever it first came out in 2014, it was a $15 game, and honestly, I'll be honest with you, even back then, I'd say that they could have sold it for $40 and still done pretty good, because it has incredible value. Like, the playtime on it is kind of short, but I don't know. It's still an incredible game. Now, if you include the fact that for the next couple years, they're going to be including in campaigns for not only Shovel Knight, but all of the other knights that he fights against as well, which will total out to about 10 campaigns in all. I think it's an incredible value to buy on the Switch for $25. Just for the fact that you're locked into that. You just gotta pay that $25 one time, and you're getting a really big game that eventually should be worth about $60. So I think it's a good idea to go ahead and buy this right now. I should talk a little about Spectre of Torment. Spectre of Torment has more of a difficulty curve to it than the original Shovel Knight did. There's more to it because you can, whenever you're hitting an enemy in midair, you can slice through them and use them as kind of like an extra jump. So you can either go diagonally downwards or diagonally upwards, and it requires a lot more timing and patience. And you know, you can also wall jump. Spectre Knight just in general just requires a bit more skill. The other thing I like about Spectre's Torment is that there's a bit more backstory to it. So this is actually a prequel, and I'm not going to go into it too much. And I haven't, disclaimer, I haven't finished the game. But from what I've seen so far, Spectre Knight's campaign so far has a pretty good, actually kind of a story arc to him. I really like the way that they provide, you know, I won't even say his name, but I really like the way that they kind of set up Spectre Knight as this long-lost character who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not going to say anything else, but fantastic game. If you were into Shovel Knight on the Wii U and 3DS games, get it, because, you know, you'll have Spectre of Torment. If you're brand new to the Shovel Knight, this is an incredible value because you get Shovel of Hope, Plague of Shadows, and Spectre of Torment. Basically 3 full games in one for 25 bucks. And the promise of 7 other campaigns and a battle mode. So, that's all I've got to say. So, for the next one, I have Snipper Clips. So, I mean, there's just so much to say about this game, quite honestly. If you plan on taking the Switch on the go with you and playing with friends, there's absolutely no reason to not pick up this game. Because it's just probably the best multiplayer that experience that traditional sideways controller style that you'll get on the Switch thus far. It's just so charming being able to, the teamwork aspect of this game. I'm not going to try and explain it too much. If you're really curious, just look up some other videos because it really is hard to explain. But there is very much a teamwork element to this game, and I think it's just perfect because of the premise of the Switch, where you have 2 controllers built in right there with the Joy-Con. It works well on TV or in portable mode, and yeah, just really a solid 2-player game. If you don't plan on playing this with other people, I wouldn't recommend it, because I actually haven't even tried it myself, but I have heard that the single player, it's just not much fun to play it by yourselves. It's kind of like, you know, like Wii Sports was for the Wii. It was a fantastic game, really fun game to play with other people, but if you're playing it by yourself, it's something else. Whereas Wii Sports Resort was kind of, actually, had some good single player stuff. Anyway, I can't recommend Snipper Clips enough. It's only $20. Guys, if you're picking up a Switch, get Snipper Clips. It's such a good multiplayer game. Alright, so I saved the most complicated game for last. So, without further ado, I present 1-2 Switch! Alright. Actually, you might be surprised by what I have to say about this game. So, I actually took this to a group meeting recently. Actually, a number of them. And, you know what? I can't even call 1-2 Switch a game. Really, I can't. It's more of just a party tool. And when you use it in the right setting, this game can be fantastic. I'll be honest with you. I brought it to a group of about 10 or 15 people, and literally, I mentioned this before, but one guy started setting up tournament brackets, and we were playing Quick Draw in tournaments, and unfortunately I lost, but we were just playing other games like Samurai Training and Wizard, and there were just, it was a lot of fun to play in a party setting. Now, given that, I've only played it with that group of people one time, and I don't know if I'm going to bring it back to that group of people again, because I feel like once you've seen it, you're kind of over it. Like, it really is a cool novelty to bring to a party and show to people and get them to know what the Switch really is. And I think it kind of sold actually a couple people on the concept of the Switch, because a couple of them were really interested in buying Zelda after that. Anyway, now the main question is it worth the $50? You know what? I would say that if you are a big social bird, and you plan on taking this to a bunch of different parties, I wouldn't recommend bringing it to the same party twice. But if you're a big social person and you go in big groups of people, I would say absolutely. If you aren't, or you just play with a couple friends, I would say definitely not. Even if you are a social bird, I would say $50 is kind of stretching it. I still honestly believe that this game should have been $20. And in fact, it shouldn't have been $20. It should have been packed in with the Switch because it demonstrates what the Switch does so well. But it wasn't, so Nintendo made that marketing choice. So we're gonna have to deal with it. It's not worth the $50. I'm just gonna say that right now, depending on your circumstances. I would say for most people, it's not worth the $50. However, if you do happen to pick it up, and you do decide to go with a group of friends to play it, you are in for a blast of a good time. Again, you probably need a large group of people. It's kind of dull whenever you and just 2 or 3 other friends are playing it, because, I don't know, there's not enough of a social aspect and not much of a audience cheering on. It really is just a party tool, and that's it. So, I really can't recommend it or not recommend it, but there is some fun to be had with it, so just keeping that in mind. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this recap of the Switch software and a few games, and stay tuned for just my recap of Zelda. That's going to be a lot of fun. Anyways, guys, see you in the next one. Hey, thanks so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. As always, I must ask, why? This is probably unhealthy. You should be watching something else. But you watch me, and I really appreciate it. Tell me, what Switch games do you like? Tell me in the comments section below. While you're down there, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. You can subscribe to me right here, and you can watch my latest video right down here. Anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next one.